Welcome to Empowering Women, Transforming Lives with Rebecca Hall-Gruyter. In our program each week, we provide the tools, ideas, and encouragement to help you move ahead on your journey, becoming a more powerful and impactful woman in your own life. Now here's your host, Rebecca Hall-Gruyter.
Welcome, everyone. We are so excited to be connecting in with you today, and we're going to be talking about just a subject that I am so passionate about, near and dear to my heart, called the power of storytelling. If we think about it, there are so many stories that we hear in our life that we even tell ourselves sometimes, and those stories impact us deeply, from books that we've read, maybe stories that have been passed down in our family from generation to generation. It could be a story that we heard. It can captivate us and transport us to different places in our heart, in our spirit, and in different worlds even. Really weaving that story, its information, its vibration into us and with us. Stories are so powerful. Even in the world of business, it's the stories that we frequently remember, the lessons, the point that we hook in and connect, and whatever that business is sharing or talking about, that story becomes that connection point. Or in conversations, the story is what can really create that moment, that heart connection. I find when I do speaking on stages and I'm teaching and leading, it's the story part that people repeat back to me, that they remember, that they carry with them. And so as we talk today, I invite you to really think about stories and how they impact you, and what are the stories you are telling and sharing and bringing forward? What are the stories that you keep within your heart, within your spirit, that you share and pass on? So as we come together, I want us to really breathe, pause. Life can get so busy. This is your time, an opportunity for you to be poured into, to be present, to really receive, and perhaps even add to your pool of stories that you carry within you and share. So let's take a deep breath as we become present. In through the nose, all the way to your toes. I even wiggle my toes sometimes to make sure they're getting oxygen and air. And then out through your mouth, like through a straw. Beautiful. Take another beautiful breath. Just feel how that, notice and how that feels. And the support and all that oxygen coming in to help bring you energy and support. And as you breathe out, you're releasing all that no longer serves, creating room and space for more. In fact, you can close your eyes. You're absolutely safe. That helps us become even more present and tune in. And as you're tuning in, I invite you to put both hands on your heart. Keep breathing mindfully and purposely. And as your hands are resting on your heart, notice the beat of your heart. With each beat, notice the pause, that quietness, that stillness in between the beats. And as you tune in, what is it that your heart is sharing with you today? What is it that you need? What is it that will encourage and empower you? What do you need real time to help you, to support you, to encourage you on your journey, in your story? And just listen. See what comes forward. And then take another deep breath. Come back into the room, eyes open, fully present, and take a moment to write down what was laid on your heart. Let's start to co-create it. Let's start to interact with it. By writing it down, it's not just swirling around in you, you're actually bringing it forward. And I'm going to encourage you to take notes on those things that touch you today, that encourage you, that spark something within you. Write that down. Create this live interactive experience. And when you write those things down, you're starting to bring them forward into the world. So I encourage you to do that. And then look at your notes. Look at what your heart is reminding you of this morning. And touch in on that as we go through our conversation today. So I shared as we were opening how passionate I am about storytelling and how impactful I have found it to be in both personal and professionally. And I'd love to welcome our amazing guest. I know you're going to love her heart, her spirit, her energy, and just start our conversation with Sherry, as we come together, what was laid on your heart as we're looking at connecting, talking about storytelling today? What was laid on your heart and spirit?
Thank you, Rebecca. I'm so glad to be here today. The thing that came forward first was that stories are meant for sharing. Mm-hmm. They're not for keeping secret or hiding away, that they're meant for sharing. And then when you asked us to listen, the word curiosity, you said it came out. And when you listen, you allow yourself that curiosity. So I thought that was, it makes it an active, you're not just listening to the story, you're not just listening to the sounds, you're curious about, what are those? What is it? I want to know more.
I love that. The power of curiosity. That's so beautiful. Thank you. Thank you for sharing. And I like that stories aren't just meant to hide away. It's important that we share and bring them forward, but that we're also curious about what is happening. What is it saying to me? Not just the words, but the message that speaks almost in between the words.
Yes, I agree.
Yeah, I love that. Love that. Well, beautiful, Shara. Thank you. And listeners, I'm curious about what has been laid on your heart as well. As we go to our first commercial break, I encourage you to take a moment and really be present. Resist that urge to multitask and cross things off the list. Really use these next 2 minutes to be present, to be curious, to listen and receive. We'll continue our conversation in just 2 minutes.
Follow Voice America at Facebook.com/Voice America for juicy updates from your favorite radio shows and podcasts.
Announcing a powerful new TV channel featuring programs designed to enhance and transform your life. Make powerful connections, one program at a time. And by doing so, we can bring transformation to the world. Tune in each week to Empowered Connections TV as we add new programs to help you make empowered connections of your own. Visit empoweredconnectionstv.com. That's empoweredconnectionstv.com and make the most of an incredible life transformation.
Voice America programs are now available on your favorite connected device, including Amazon, Alexa, and Google Home. Through streams with Apple Podcasts, TuneIn, and iHeartRadio, listening to your favorite show is as easy as saying the show name followed by the word podcast.
Hey, Alexa, play Finding Your Frequency podcast.
If that doesn't work, try adding on TuneIn or on iHeartRadio or on Apple Podcasts.
Rebecca Hall Gruyter's Speaker Talent Search is looking for speakers wanting to get on more stages. With just one audition, you could open the doors to hundreds of speaking opportunities, reach more people, and expand your impact. Finalists get to audition live in front of leaders looking to fill all kinds of speaking opportunities. Apply now at speakertalentsearch.com. That's speakertalentsearch.com. We look forward to hearing your message.
It's your world. Motivate, change, succeed. VoiceAmericaEmpowerment.com.
You're listening to Empowering Women, Transforming Lives with your host, Rebecca Hall Gruyter. If you have a question or comment for Rebecca or her guest, we'd love to hear from you. Please send an email to Rebecca at yourpurposedrivenpractice.com. Now back to Empowering Women, Transforming Lives.
Welcome back, everyone. I hope you enjoyed those 2 minutes. I have found when I just allow myself to pause and breathe even 1 minute and be still, it can be so realigning and refreshing, and my perspective can open, expand, and shift. And I find I'm able to receive more from that place. So I hope that you enjoy these 2-minute moments that we have built throughout the show, these pauses. They're really there to support you, to encourage you to have that moment to pause and breathe and integrate, bring in all those things that serve, and continue to breathe out what no longer does. So enjoy those moments. I hope you found that a rich experience that tied into curiosity for you in your heart and seeing what was coming forward. Now, you got to meet Sherry briefly on a heart level in our opening, and I just wanted to share a little bit more about her so you have a little bit of a taste of her background and what she's doing in the world. I always find that so helpful to know as we're getting to meet people, but I always love starting with the heart. So I know you will continue to enjoy her energy, her spirit, her creativity, and all her passion that she brings to everything that she does. So Sherry Lynn Campbell is a storyteller and a lifelong reader, multi-book author, who is taking her love of storytelling to new levels in her first young adult novel that is part of her storyteller trilogy that is coming forward. Her love of storytelling and song making for children in the classroom led her to the first 3 books that she has brought forward and shared with the world. Since retiring from teaching, she has also been following her, and she puts this in quotes, her own inner child, to explore and write for a wider audience. And I'm just privileged and honored to bring her here today. Welcome, Sherry Campbell.
Such fanfare. It's a wonderful thing to be here with you today. Never ever thought I'd be on a podcast or on a stage like this. So, yay.
Yay. Well, we are thrilled to have you joining us and get to bring you forward into the podcast world. So we're honored to be part of that and getting to share you with the world. And you have, it's just been for me personally such a joy to get to know you and all the different things that you're creating, you're bringing to the world. I love your perspective on how you look at things and the impact that you're looking to have on hearts and lives. So it's exciting to have you here with us today and to share. I'd love for you to start with why. Why do you love storytelling? Why is that something so important to you and you're passionate about?
Wow. Okay. So when I was a little kid, I remember the Sunday night TV shows that we could watch when TV was live and there wasn't, you could go back and watch it whenever. There were the Disney shows that we would watch on Sunday night, and then the wildlife show, and it told stories in like cartoons, and then it told stories of what was going on in different areas of the world with the wildlife, and it was so captivating. It wasn't like a normal show. It was more like just a story and how it came to life, and time stood still for me in there when we did that. And then you go to school and you have a teacher and she's telling you stories, and you're learning about history, and you keep growing older and the stories get more in depth and more complex. And I found that I just couldn't get enough of them, so much so that in middle school, my summer school classes were reading. I wanted to read more books. I wanted to know more things. My mom bought us encyclopedias. I wanted to read the encyclopedias. I wanted to know what the words meant. Where did they come from? Why are they here? So I'd read dictionaries. And so all of it ties into the storyteller and the way things are brought forward. And then the older I got, the more I learned about the bardic traditions in Celtic lore and the Native American traditions of storytelling and the people in the world who don't write down things and only tell it generation after generation with their voice and pass along their histories. And then Thanksgiving, when you sit around the table and you all bring up your favorite stories of growing up, what your mom and dad did, their favorite stories, how they met, all of those things have led me to just a lifelong fascination with storytelling in everyday life.
I love it. I love that this started so young and has just continued forward, the fascination and the curiosity and the interest in wanting to bring that forward and learn more and discover more. And now not only do you have that personal passion of reading and hearing and different ways that stories are told, even music. I know you use music even in some of the storytelling and through song and voice and sound. And now this just continues forward, that you are now bringing your own stories forward in so many different ways. So that just makes me happy and smile. And I know so many hearts and lives are being impacted and will continue to be impacted with the stories that you are bringing forward. And I know you have one that is coming forward very, very soon. Very excited about it, and the Storyteller Trilogy. I'd love for you to share the title of the full title of the book, because I know there's title and subtitle, full title of the book, and why. What motivated you to write this book? Why was it important to bring forward now?
Well, the full title is The Storyteller's Quilt, Beginnings Are Boundless. And I don't know if I set out as a young person to write a book, but I never would have imagined it would be this book. I would have thought it would have been one continuous story that follows itself. But every attempt at putting pen to paper and bringing a story forward, they sort of all stopped short, with the exception of Beginnings Are Boundless. And Beginnings Are Boundless is in itself just a story, but there was something magical about that story and about the characters that were in it and about the emotion that was in it. And so I kept trying to find a way to make that kind of pull all the other things together. And after several years of trying to force it, I was rewriting Beginnings Are Boundless again, trying to get it to be in the most professional state it could be in. And I got to the very end of where it stops. And then a character that I wasn't expecting just kind of walked onto the page. And it was the storyteller named Forbes. And I was so surprised. And I think at that moment, I finally realized what flow felt like, because there's a writer flow, there's a story bubble when you're reading and doing books with children or singing. There's a bubble that happens, and then there's a flow of it, and you can sense when the group is all together. And so I hit that, and Forbes introduced himself, and then everything from that point kind of fell into place on how the other stories that I'd written and had little mini flows with could fit in, and create a path to telling the stories, the emotions, the feelings, the thoughts, and the ponderings that I've had in my life.
So I love this that you get surprised by your stories and your characters, that as you are opening up that space and creating, I know you've shared at times with me that it's almost like a movie on a screen, like you can see. And as these pieces that you had written, these stories, as you were finishing writing them, that Forbes then introduced himself, creating how the way they all came together. And that's just so beautiful. Do you find that you're frequently surprised by characters joining the party in that way, or they come at the time they're needed, or how does that work for you?
Well, I think once this book started, it was like the magic just sort of kept unfolding. And yes, they all just, so the stories that are embedded into the storyteller's quilt, um, those stories had been written long time before, and those characters were like set and done a long time ago. But the characters that introduce themselves within the storyteller's world, they just sort of showed up. So, and and yeah, their voices and their characters, and I think they just wanted to join the party, and they wanted what they wanted to bring forward come into the world as well. I know that sounds sort of out there, but um but yeah, that's how it seems to be working for me.
I love it. And then you've created the quilt was able to come together of these
Yes.
stories and the messages that they had and that each of the mini stories within had as well. And I've had an opportunity to read your book in advance copy, and I found myself captivated. I would be pulled into these different worlds as I read, and I was curious, and I was waiting to see what would happen, and I got surprised and then captivated and pulled into another story, another space. So I found it a really enjoyable experience, and there are things that I carried with me as the story progressed and even today. So I thank you for giving me the opportunity to read an advance copy. I'm excited that it's coming out to the world very soon. So I'd love for you to share, when is it coming out so we can all mark that date on our calendar.
It's coming out on August 19th, which I believe is Tuesday, and it'll be a launch, and there'll be a special price for the book for the first 24 to 48 hours, of $1.99, and it will be in an ebook form, and so you can read it before it's actually in paper. And it always is a good thing to have an ebook copy so that you can carry your library around with you. Otherwise, I can tell you, as an avid book reader, backpacks get very heavy when you carry all your favorite friends around with you all the time.
I love it. I love it. Well, I'm so excited. I know that's just around the corner, and excited to let all of our listeners know. And I hope everybody writes that date on your calendars, August 19th. And I did look up at my calendars. You were saying that it is a Tuesday, so I can verify. Yes, it's a Tuesday. And the reason we encourage you to mark that on the calendar is so you can lean in and take advantage of that special rate, first 24 to 48 hours. We always like you to know first. And then we are honored if you lean in, take a look, and help us share it out so we can reach as many hearts and lives as possible with that book, as this book, I should say, as it's coming forward to be shared with the world. And for listeners who are just writing that on the calendar, curious, because we're talking about curiosity today, who is this book for? You know, how will they know, wow, this is something that's for me and I really want to lean into?
Well, this book is for it's targeted at the young adult fiction and fantasy genre, and but it's for anybody who's young at heart, and anybody who can remember maybe how they felt when they were younger and choices that they made when they were younger or things they decided upon when they were younger and have maybe made new choices now. And it's a great book for breathing, stepping back, and contemplating and thinking about.
Beautiful. I love it. And it has adventures throughout it as well.
It does have adventures.
Yes, yes. Beautiful. Well, we are getting ready to go to our next commercial break. And as we do so, listeners, I encourage you to take these 2 minutes, pause, breathe, be present, and see what things are kind of pulling at your heart around storytelling, and maybe even listening to those stories that are coming forward that are wanting to be told, are wanting to be brought forward. Maybe there's some seeds being planted. And we will continue our conversation in just 2 minutes.
A little birdie told me Voice America is on X. Follow us at Voice America TRN.
Rebecca Hall Gruyter's Speaker Talent Search is looking for speakers wanting to get on more stages. With just one audition, you could open the doors to hundreds of speaking opportunities, reach more people, and expand your impact. Finalists get to audition live in front of leaders looking to fill all kinds of speaking opportunities. Apply now at speakertalentsearch.com. That's speakertalentsearch.com. We look forward to hearing your message.
Have you become a member yet? Sign up now to become a member of Voice America. It's always free and easy. Plus, you get to take advantage of some great member benefits. Get unlimited access to millions of hours of on-demand content across all of our channels. Keep track of your favorite episodes, shows, and hosts in your own customizable library. Find out what shows you might be interested in based on your favorites. Plus, you get insider access with our newsletter. Membership gives you more. Sign up at voiceamerica.com and click register at the top right.
Announcing a powerful new TV channel featuring programs designed to enhance and transform your life. Make powerful connections, one program at a time. And by doing so, we can bring transformation to the world. Tune in each week to Empowered Connections TV as we add new programs to help you make empowered connections of your own. Visit empoweredconnectionstv.com. That's empoweredconnectionstv.com. And make the most of an incredible life transformation.
It's your world. Motivate, change, succeed. VoiceAmericaEmpowerment.com.
You're listening to Empowering Women, Transforming Lives with your host, Rebecca Hall Gruyter. If you have a question or comment for Rebecca or her guest, we'd love to hear from you. Please send an email to Rebecca at yourpurposedrivenpractice.com. Now back to Empowering Women, Transforming Lives.
Welcome back, everyone. I hope you enjoyed those 2 minutes. And we've been talking about storytelling and curiosity and taking time to listen to what's being placed on our heart and spirit. And one of the subject matters I always like to talk about in July during the summer months is how are we showing up as a star in the center of our life? How are we coming forward? Because sometimes I feel like we treat life a little bit like a dress rehearsal. Like, next time I'll do that. Next time I'll really show up. Or we shrink back and let someone else take the stage. And when we feel that pull, we feel that prompt, it's our time. And this moment matters. This stage matters. It's not someday. Someday's not a promise. It's a maybe. We plan and hope for someday, but we know we have today. So I want to encourage you to really choose how you are showing up, how you are being present. And as these things are sparking in your heart, what are you going to do with them? How are you going to bring them forward? How are you going to respond to that call, that pull at the heart? I love how Sherry has leaned in to bring these messages and stories forward that pull on her heart. And she has taken the now, not someday now, and taken those steps forward, including showing up on the stage today to share with us. and to share from her heart and spirit as we look forward to her book coming forward. And I'd love to get your perspective, Sherry, in looking at your book and the messages that you have within it, as well as your own perspective around the center stage. So, two questions. How can we, your perspective, take center stage in our life a little bit more? And how can your book help people do that?
Okay, so wow, the book can help with finding your own voice by experiencing how Greer finds her voice and the courage to be who she is. And all of us are living, like you said, it's not a someday. It has to be every day is my someday. Every day is my brand new day stage, and I have to walk out onto it. When I was in junior high and high school, I was fearless. I was constantly writing stories for extra credit and giving them to the teachers because they could be my audience. It was like they had to be my audience. And I could put myself on that stage and feel like I was being successful. And I did the same thing through high school. And college, it wasn't as easy. More of it was sharing with my friends, but everybody was so busy and nobody wants to sit and read your story. So so they get sidetracked, but I still wanted to be on that stage of having people read books that I wrote or stories that I wrote. And then into teaching, I was able to you tell other people's stories and make up songs and bring it in that way. And what I see in the character of in the books is that they're not on my self-discovery. They're on their own self-discovery. They're on their own coming of age. They're on their own journeys into reaching for something bigger than just themselves. Forbes had a nice cushy world that he was very successful in, and he's moving into something that's less sure, but he's curious, so he follows his heart. The Carter in the story, he was fine just existing, being the best at what he was at, and then he stretched himself. And so in each of the stories that are in the book, it's about stretching yourself. It's about, I can stay here and be in the life that I know, whether it's good or bad, or I can stretch myself and I don't know what could happen. The possibilities are endless because beginnings are boundless. And so every day when I went to preschool and kindergarten and second grade was a brand new day for those kids. Every day they were a different child. And if we listen to our inner child, then every day that we wake up, we're a different child. And what are we going to reach for? What are we going to let ourselves be open to? What are we going to allow as our possibilities and see as opportunities rather than letting fear or I'm not good enough hold us back? And at some point, you have to go forward and try, or forever just sit in your chair and say, well, I wish I would have.
Beautiful. Thank you for sharing. How do you encourage yourself to do that?
Well, I've been to mentoring groups, where you learn how to be brave. Meditation, where you learn to listen and let yourself listen and calm down and be present. I've had great mentors in my life who were extraordinary just because they were doing what they would normally, ordinarily do in their life, but they stood out as these remarkable people because they followed their passion. And so if I wanted to be that for someone else or just for myself, I needed to follow my passion. And I guess that's why I'm here. I never stopped following it, but I never felt brave enough to bring it forward, which I do now.
I honor and celebrate that and your willingness to share some of that journey and to be brave and courageous when you're not quite sure where things will go or what to expect, and to entrust all of us with your message and your stories and your heart is such an honor. So I thank you for being willing to share with us and from your heart. And that's very apparent. I can feel it from your heart. And I appreciate that. And that does take courage and trust and bravery. And I was thinking back on some of the journey you shared about meditation and mentors and learning some of these different things. If you had the opportunity or the ability to go back in time and know what you know now, if that's possible, and do things, perhaps bring this book forward sooner or other things that you would want to bring forward, would you? What are your thoughts and response around that as you think about the journey you've been on and now you're bringing the book forward?
Well, I guess I would say, your younger ego is like, I want it all now. And of course I'm good enough. And why isn't the phone ringing off the hook? So your younger self would say, yeah, I want to be successful when I'm young and have all that energy. But this book, I tried forcing this book my whole life, 40 years of my whole life. And it wasn't possible until I am where I am now and have the things under my belt, the experiences that I've had, the life experiences, the being a mother, becoming a mother, being a wife, losing people. I needed all that under my belt to be able to bring this forward.
Yeah. Thank you for sharing. Yeah. No, it's
I promised I wouldn't cry. It made myself cry anyway.
Crying is allowed. That's good. Heart being touched and shared and brought forward. And I think all of us have had loss and resonate with that and the impact that it has on us. And there are some amazing things we discover and learn in the loss and through the loss. And it does change us and our perspective and what we're able to bring forward, as well as the successes and the amazing highs that we can have as well in life. So that whole rich experience is truly powerful, and that richness then gets woven into our imprint and what we're able to bring forward. And I love that you honored the timing of this book, that you didn't force it and make it happen, that you allowed for the richness that was really called to be in it, to be part of it. So as you think about this journey that you've gone on and the book's about to come out, which I know is exciting. I'm excited. Can have a range of emotions. And this is a big goal. You've been working on this book for a really long time and waited for the right time that it was ready as well to be brought forward and shared, and you were ready. What encouraged and inspired you along the way to reach this goal, to honor the journey, to bring it forward?
I'd have to say my family, my mother and father, always have been so supportive of who I am, and my mom is my my mom and dad are both my biggest fans, but my mom reads a lot more than my dad, of the stories I give to her, and my son and my husband. My son is when he grew up falling in love with storytelling, because of course he's my son. He had to be dragged along on, aren't these stories awesome? He would always say to me, Mom, you could write that. Mom, you're going to be on TV. Mom, you're going to be famous like Jessica Fletcher. You're going to be on book tours. So having those cheerleaders in your life are very, very helpful. And the wonderful children that I got to be part of their early childhood life and read to them and dance with them and sing with them, they all encouraged me to go bigger, to go bigger, be more for everyone, because of the joy and the love that we all shared and the energy that we created at school.
Beautiful. That's so important, right? To have those cheerleaders that can see our brilliance, that can reflect it back to us, that can encourage us along the way, makes such a difference on the journey. And I'm so glad you had so many dancing, supportive, positive, celebratory cheerleaders along the way. And I feel like that joy, that exuberance, that love of impact and connection just comes through everything that you do. And it's wonderful for us to remember the impact we have on each other, how we can encourage people and the storytellers in our life and remind them to write that down, to share it out. We don't want those words lost forever. We don't want those messages and stories to disappear. We want them brought forward, and we can cheer each other on and be an avid reader of them and encourage the storyteller as well. It was beautiful. Thank you for sharing. We are getting ready to go to our next commercial break. As we do so, listeners, I want you to think about what Sherry has shared. Maybe there's something that has been on your heart to do and you've been working on it for many, many years. Maybe now is the time, and that journey was important for you to go on to be able to bring all of that wisdom, insight, and experience into what you're bringing forward. So we'll continue our conversation in just 2 minutes.
Voice America is on LinkedIn. Connect with us today.
Announcing a powerful new TV channel featuring programs designed to enhance and transform your life. Make powerful connections, one program at a time. And by doing so, we can bring transformation to the world. Tune in each week to Empowered Connections TV as we add new programs to help you make empowered connections of your own. Visit empoweredconnectionstv.com. That's empoweredconnectionstv.com. And make the most of an incredible life transformation.
You need to live up to your full potential. You've heard that for years, but now there's a channel to help you get there. Introducing the Voice America Empowerment Channel. Our listeners have told us that they want to be motivated, hear about success stories, and positive encouragement around the clock. And we've responded to you. The Voice America Empowerment Channel is the home of the world's top life coaches, entrepreneurs, and success experts. Listen to the Voice America Empowerment Channel. It's here at voiceamericaempowerment.com.
Rebecca Hall Gruyter's Speaker Talent Search is looking for speakers wanting to get on more stages. With just one audition, you could open the doors to hundreds of speaking opportunities, reach more people, and expand your impact. Finalists get to audition live in front of leaders looking to fill all kinds of speaking opportunities. Apply now at speakertalentsearch.com. That's speakertalentsearch.com. We look forward to hearing your message.
Find out what makes the most successful people tick. Keep listening to the Voice America Empowerment Channel. VoiceAmericaEmpowerment.com.
You're listening to Empowering Women, Transforming Lives with your host, Rebecca Hall Gruyter. If you have a question or comment for Rebecca or her guest, we'd love to hear from you. Please send an email to Rebecca at yourpurposedrivenpractice.com. Now back to Empowering Women, Transforming Lives.
Welcome back, everyone. I hope you enjoyed those 2 minutes, that opportunity to pause and breathe and think about those things that you feel that pull in your heart to start to bring forward, to explore, to reflect on those things that you kind of know. I know for myself, I feel this now, and there's a little bit of scariness I'll feel around it, but I feel this pull, and it's almost like, I loved how Sherry was talking about the bubbles that get created. It's almost like time slows down for a moment, and you feel that pull. Those are the things to lean into and stretch, even if it's a little bit scary or a little bit uncomfortable. That's a pull being called forward. And what I've learned about that pull is when you feel it, it's not just it's time for you, it's time for the people that need what you have to share. So that's what the pull is. It's pulling you forward because it's needed now for such a time as this. And I want you to listen for those pulls. That's how we can really honor our purpose and the impact that we're called to have, is by leaning. And it can be that pull to stretch and have a conversation, or to stretch and stand on stage, or to stretch and share that story, that message, that encouragement. Listen for the pulls, honor them. And we started our conversation today talking about the power of storytelling, and how stories impact our lives in so many different ways. And I have found it's not just the receiver of the story that's impacted, but the teller of the story is as well. And I feel like we've gotten to see both sides of that today in our conversation. And I wanted to circle back to the book that is coming forward. It's the first book in the trilogy, the Storytellers trilogy that's coming forward. And I love this book and how the quilt pieces, in a sense, are woven together. I love how they weave together and how they can touch all of our lives powerfully and deeply. So I'm curious, as you have this opportunity to lean in and sign up for this book, to put it on your calendar, I encourage you to do so if you're curious about how quilt pieces in our lives can get woven together, interested in exploring how beginnings are boundless. Perhaps you have a young adult in your life looking to explore and learn, or they love reading. This would be a wonderful book to add to their collection. So with that, I'm just going to bring Sherry on here again and just have her remind us of the details. So we make sure to add this beautiful book to our libraries. We have that opportunity. I always like a special deal and never want to miss out if there's an opportunity. So remember, when it's first released, you have that special rate for the first 24 hours. I don't want to 48. I don't want anyone coming back to me saying, I wish you told us, I wish I'd known. So this is letting you know it's coming, and it'll be released, the release date and the full title again, Sherry, if you could.
All right. So the full title is The Storyteller's Quilt, Beginnings Are Boundless by Lynn Campbell. And it will be available starting Tuesday, August 19th. That's our launch date, 2025. It'll be out on Amazon. There will be links connected to my LinkedIn page, which is at LinkedIn, Sherry Edmondson-Campbell. I want people who knew me in high school and before I was married to be able to find me. And I do have a website, Wonder Eddy, all one word, wondereddy.com. And I will be putting the link for the book out there as well. And you can always try Amazon and put my name in and I should come up.
Perfect. Well, we are excited, looking forward to the release of your beautiful book and the beginning of the trilogy. I love that because I know when I finished it, I wanted more. So I love that it's the beginning. And
the characters are definitely talking to me about book 2.
See, I love that. So I'm excited about that. And is there just any final thoughts you have as we reflect back on our conversation? I love that you shared your contact information so people can go deeper, but sometimes there's just that final thought you'd like to share with our listeners as they get ready to go back out into the world.
Each of you out there listening, your story is important. Each of you has a story that unfolds more and more every day, whether it's how you show up in the world or what you write down or what you make. And the world, like Rebecca alluded to, needs you and needs what you are bringing forward. And it might not be in the format that it ends up being in, but if you don't try and get it out there at all, it'll never find its finished format.
Beautiful. Thank you for sharing. I appreciate it. Very excited for the upcoming release, and thank you for taking time. I know right before a launch, it's a busy time, and
it's a fun, busy time.
Oh, I'm glad, because sometimes when I talk to people, it's a range of emotions they may be feeling. So I'm glad.
It's that too.
Yeah. So I appreciate you taking this time to share with us from your heart as you're looking ahead at the release of your book. And listeners, I appreciate you tuning in and reflecting on storytelling and the power of that. And I encourage you to pay attention to those things that are calling and wanting to come forward. Pay attention to the stories that you are hearing and the ones that you are sharing and telling others, and including the ones you're telling yourself as well. Be mindful of that. Tell the stories that matter. Tell the stories that you want to believe, that you want to be part of bringing forward, and be willing to bring those messages forward and be the story that you want to be in the world. You get to choose that. So as you go forward, as you go back into your day, I encourage you to take a couple minutes just for you. Pause, breathe, look back at your notes, see if things have shifted, see if there's something based on that today, not someday, but today, an action you want to take. And remember, wherever you go, whatever you do, I hope that you choose to bloom where you're planted and shine out the gift of who you are in the world. Have an amazing week, everyone, and I'll look forward to talking to you soon.
Thank you for joining us this week for Empowering Women, Transforming Lives. Please tune in again for another edition with your host, Rebecca Hall Gruyter, next Thursday at 1 p.m. Eastern Time, 10 a.m. Pacific, on the Voice America Empowerment Channel, with a replay on Sunday at 4 p.m. Eastern and 1 p.m. Pacific on the Voice America Variety Channel. Have a beautiful week, and may you always bloom where you're planted and shine.